right, it's good to see you once again right here on Health Diary. And of course, last week we began a show on behavioral change for weight management. And of course, we promised to continue with the theme this week. So that is what we are doing. But of course, we'll go deeper into, first of all, understanding the fact that Dr. said you're not supposed to feel hungry, all right? And the different types of hunger. So of course, we'll pick up from there. And of course, if you're just joining us today for the first time, we have Dr. Benjamin Nji here, who's a laparoscopic surgeon, as well as a wellness coach. And we also have Lillian Wanjiru, who is a wellness champion, to help us really understand the whole concept about behavioral change for weight management. So, Dr. and then remember when we were talking about weight loss, you said, no, we don't use weight loss. We're saying weight release, right? But before we understand the difference between the two and why, your approach is weight release. Weight release. Okay. So can we just first of all start with where we put a pause, and that is on we're not supposed to feel hungry. Okay. Why do you say that?
Hunger is a perception. So when we tell each other that you're not meant to feel hungry, it's you really need to dig deep and ask, am I really hungry? And that enters the realm of how many types of hunger can you have.
Yes.
So in our program, we believe that there are 6 types of hunger. Primary hunger, number 1, is thirst. Why did we develop this as a perception of hunger? Is because a lot of the meals and the foods that we used to have, our ancestors used to have, they delivered water. So you are eating a fruit, that's how you got some of your water intake. Not necessarily just the water, because remember there was a time we didn't have containers to carry around water. So you'd only drink water when you encountered a water source. So food was also a way that we delivered water to ourselves. So we interpreted thirst as hunger, because then it would abate once we had something to eat. Second is the real true hunger. This is nutritional hunger. And this is where our body craves nutrients and asks for them. And you might have found that there are, for example, ladies who at certain stages, they develop a liking to eating stones, what you call pike. And stones, soil. Why? Because their body is craving iron. And so that's how it feels that it can get iron. And once you correct the iron deficiency, you find that they are craving for stones and soil dissipates. Hunger number 3, not really a hunger, is what we call empty stomach hunger. This is the perception that we usually wake up with in the morning after you've slept throughout the night, probably around 7 to 8 hours, and your stomach has nothing within it, and so it's collapsed. We have learned to equate that with feeling hungry, and that's why a lot of the times when you wake up in the morning, you'll say, my stomach is empty, therefore I must be hungry, therefore I shall have breakfast.
Is it because we always believe that the stomach has to be full all the time?
And that's the other thing. So we've equated satiety, or rather fullness, with being full. As in the full, how do I put it? Feeling full in the stomach or in the abdomen, we've equated that with being nutritionally full, which are not the same thing. So our bodies say we are full when I have enough nutrients for the task that I need to do. For us, we have taken a surrogate and said, if I feel my stomach
has something, bulges,
then I am full. That's why empty stomach, that perception becomes interpreted as a hunger. The other hunger, which can also be said to be a real hunger, is low blood sugar hunger. And this is because if you look at the energy sources that are within our body system, it's around 2,500 kilocalories. A lot of it is in the form of rapid sugar that can be mobilized. If you think about being able to light a jiko, a lot of the time you will use these papers that rapidly burn, and that gets the firewood now or the charcoal to get the fire. So that's kind of how our body interprets it. And that's why if you run a marathon, for example, a marathon, by the time you hit around 2,000 kilocalories, marathoners will tell you almost hit a wall, because your body gets to the point it's saying, we do not have enough reserves circulating, we need to stop. You've probably also seen videos about people who are running marathon, and it's like their legs are refusing to move. That's their body's way of telling them, you are going to kill yourself, so we are going to stop you before you get there. Low blood sugar hunger. The other one, which is a big one, and I'd say it's most people's perception of hunger, is emotional hunger. You are eating to feel an emotional need, whether that's stress, whether it's love, whether it's different emotions. You eat to feel that need. And the last one, which could be looked at in two ways, is what we call variety hunger. You want to eat something different just because you're bored of what you're eating. Or at an emotional level, you are stuck in a rut and you are craving a different experience out of eating. So I work in a factory where my work is to put the letter Q in a keyboard. And that's what I do every day. I just put letter Q in the keyboard and I move it along. When I get out of there, I'll say I need to eat to be able to meet that.
Yeah. Okay. And Lillian, of course, this is almost common to all of us, right? We'll go through this. And we were talking about this earlier on. And you said sometimes you just crave milkshakes and you love them and you would have them.
Yes.
When you want
Anytime you crave
right?
milkshake.
Yeah. So where would you say that stemmed from? I'm just curious of these different types of hungers that we've learned today. Where did that stem from mostly? Or any other craving that probably you had or found yourself in a position where you would just eat to feel, a certain need? Yeah.
This, of course, stress eating. I've been having so much trouble at work. My boss has been stressing me. I need to treat myself. I need to feel good about myself. Like, I deserve this. I've been working so hard. Kwani pesa natafuta ya nini? What is it that makes you feel good? If you treat yourself, some ice cream, some milkshake, some chicken. I loved fried chicken a lot. So mostly it was that. You need to treat yourself. What do you treat yourself to? Why would you go back home to eat the same old things you've been eating when this milkshake in the, outlets hook off? So basically that was it. And obviously even the fact that these things were introduced to me at a grown-up setup of life. When I was in college, I think that's when I started now having those milkshakes. I did have these things growing up. True. Life is providing me the opportunity
To have them.
And why not treat yourself?
Right? Like anytime I want it, my body wants.
That is, okay, well, we did have chapati every other week, but then it's a struggle to some point. So if you can have it every other day, why not? Yeah. Why not? Reward yourself. You only have this one life to live. So reward yourself, basically.
Yeah.
So that was where it was stemming
from.
Yes.
Okay. So having learned what you learned, during the program, and of course, I just want us to go in depth, and especially based on your story.
Yes.
So you understood, first of all, the relationship with food, right? And how we behave around food.
Yes.
So what are some of the changes that you would say you made?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, to just make this sustainable, because it's very easy to be like 1 week, 2 week, 3 hack, right?
Yes.
And then, right?
Yes.
You go back. So what are some of the changes that you made that has been able to sustain you up until now?
Well, first of all, I think the biggest motivation is that I did shed weight, which was a big struggle.
Yeah.
And so getting there, you're like, you don't want to go back. Okay. You don't want to go back to where you've been, especially because I've been there, fasting and exercising and not getting anywhere. And finally, I'm having something that is working for me. Okay. So do I want to go back again to the old habits? No.
So now, you don't take ugali?
At all. I actually don't even have wheat flour or ugali flour in my house. There's a friend who occasionally visits me and she has to bring her own rice and her own. Because you don't know. There's a time I didn't even know what price. When people are
complaining here,
why are you complaining and you can live without it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, so Dr. just tell us how this works. Because again, like Lillian said, it's very gradual, right? Week 1, week 2, you're not told cut off. No, just do it, but also introduce more water into your system, right? Okay, so then after that?
Allow me to just build on something she mentioned. She said, you want to treat yourself. So we say, if you're treating yourself, treat yourself well. If you had a luxury car, Bentley, Ferrari, would you run it on the expressway at 200 kph and then say, to treat my car, let me put kerosene? No, you'd say, I want to go and get the optimum. You might even import the fuel that you use. So why do we do that to our bodies? Have a great day at the gym, and you say, to treat myself, I will have a milkshake with a donut or something like that, and say,
Rice. They go very well with fries and fried chicken.
Exactly. So treat yourself well.
Treat yourself well.
Our program, remember, is behavior change.
Yes.
In the first 2 weeks, it's like we lay a foundation, and the foundation we lay is internal. So we tell you, don't change anything. Eat the way you've been eating. The only thing we're asking you is take more water and add more fruits and vegetables. Just do that. And what we're doing in that foundation is we are really slowing down what we call the food timeline. So how does food actually make you feel? But before that, we ask, how did you think the food would make you feel? How does it make you feel now? Half an hour later, how do you actually feel? Did the food make you feel the way you thought it would feel? I haven't had this for so long. Let me go and have it. They have it, and their body shouts at them. They're like, are you crazy? What have you done?
Okay.
And so routinely we have people who say, I used to have an attachment to this food. I no longer have that attachment.
She had an attachment to Granny, but now she can't have it. And I'm still stuck in my backyard apple. Okay.
So at the end of the program, Dr. Njihia doesn't tell you what you need to eat. We say your body will tell you what.
Okay. All right. How about we take a break? Time flies. But of course, when we come back, then we'd want to understand, especially Lillian, for you, then and now, right? How is your body? How are you doing? You said, of course, the biggest win is to maintain, to be where you are today with your weight, first of all, and just overall health, right? But Cesar, what exactly does that look, to us who are meeting you maybe, for the very first time? And of course, Dr. would also want to understand, because majority of the times, and especially with like diets, some people will fall back, go back to what they eat. But you're telling us by the end of the program is like, now I'm okay. I don't need to eat what I used to eat. All right. So what are the chances of going back to the old ways, right? But of course, all that is coming up after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. The show is Health Diary, and of course, we are on part 2 of a conversation that we started last week, and this is as far as behavioral change. I was about to say our relationship with food. Behavioral change for weight management, and of course, to help us with the same, we have Dr. Benjamin Njihia, who is a laparoscopic surgeon, as well as a wellness coach, and as well as Lillian Wanjiru, who is a wellness champion as well. So, Dr. very quickly, because you see, someone who's watching us, and even this is me being curious at the same time, I might be like, so we're different in terms of our bodies and metabolism and our whole concept about familiarity to napon back to you, right? So when it comes to then behavioral change, are all these things a factor? Are there people who, are mostly recommended to go through this program as compared to the other people? But just based on our differences, how then is the program helpful for all of us?
So in terms of looking at your body is a machine that wants to perform certain functions. So to be able to perform those functions, there is the functional weight that it carries. In this case, I'll say the muscles, the bones, the vital organs that you have. And then there's non-functional weight that really doesn't need to carry around. And that's why it would put on stores of fat. And a concept we also introduce is the issue of weight release rather than weight loss, because you only lose that which you want to keep. But for many of us, our bodies don't want to carry around that extra weight in terms of fat because it's not contributing to the functions that we need to do. So we say we are releasing the fat because then you release that which you are happy to let go of. So weight release. So if you look at that, then my needs in terms of what I need to carry around and what I need to be able to do would differ.
Yeah. And I like the fact that, you emphasize your body will tell you what it means. No one has to tell you, it's sasaba, and see thighs, your body will tell you what exactly you need. So Lillian, what are some of the biggest, aside from, of course, losing weight and getting to your ideal weight now, which is, you said 58, right? Do you want to lose more? Of course.
I would say I want to get to 55 and play around. 53, 55 would be a good weight for me to play around with.
Okay. So aside from that, like the physical, of course, manifestation of, the behavioral change, right?
Yes.
And what are other things that you have noticed? We talked about the fact that he said you used to have like very painful menses, and the child will talk about the hormone aspect of the theme for the program. You used to have like very painful menses, but after the program,
I had all. And I've had the easiest time. It gets lighter.
Yeah.
So, when it gets, and you're not even in pain, you don't even feel it. You just, ishakuja.
Yes.
And I would have like pain like 3 days prior. I would start, ew. Yeah. It was there. And I promise you right now, I don't feel the pain any longer. It's such a huge win. I got into cycling again last year from zero. Started, obviously from struggling the 5 kilometers back to my house. I have recently now done 158 kilometers again in a day. So those I would say now are my humble wins, right?
Those are not humble wins, because my eyes are like, you did, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I know if I had just been in that fitness journey of mine without now this behavioral change, I most certainly would not get here as fast as I did with now the change in behavior.
Yeah.
Actually, something quite unique about this is that I went through those 158 clicks with energizing with just water and fruit. Wow. Like I didn't have to go and take chapo or ugali.
Yeah.
I did Mount Kenya, honestly, from base to Lenana and back. I only took water and apples and bananas. Those were enough fuels for me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I remember when I was first, me and Doc now started this program when I had already done like 2-3 hikes. So I knew what we use for energy. There's energy bars, there's soda. I used to do Monster Energy a lot. And I would ask him, like, now I'm going for a hike. And what should I do? Like, am I allowed now to take my usual energy bar? And he would ask, like, why don't you just snack on apple?
Yeah.
And I didn't think it possible, to be honest.
Yeah.
But here we are. I'm living proof.
Right?
Yeah.
And I like the fact that, because again, we do not want to ask it, okay, so what works, what should we eat, what shouldn't eat? Because like you said, Doc, it's different for everybody. And, whatever works for Lillian might not necessarily work for me. But the point is understanding why you need, why you need what you need at that particular time. Okay, so that means there will be no cravings, there will be no...
So let's go back to the 2 week that we start the program with, where you've really had to understand how different foods make your body feel. You recalibrated your body. That's why at the end of the program, we don't prescribe what you need to eat, because your body will tell you what it needs, principle number 1. Number 2, as part of motivation, we also tell you to look at what are non-scale victories, because a lot of the time when you go into a program, you're looking at, I just want to lose weight. Then we ask you, is it really weight or health that you want? So what are some of the wins that people have had? We've had people get off migraine meds, and these are people who have such severe headaches that they're on follow-up with neurologists. They put their drugs down and they no longer need them. We've had patients who have been on diabetic medication and no longer required. Hypertensives have gotten their blood pressure under control without medicine. We like to say we've saved marriages because spouses no longer snore. There's increased energy to do bedroom activities. And so even just the enhanced quality of sleep are things that from week 4, just because of changing some of the things that you're taking in, you find that those go away. Once in a while, if you revert to the environment that you went through, or if you put in a situation where you are no longer in control of what you are able to allow yourself to have, then you find that there might be craving. There might be instances where you will actually eat something that you know you shouldn't have. Number one, there'll be immediate feedback from your body to tell you that one we don't do. But number two, you will also be equipped with the tools that you require. Once you are able to get back into an environment where you can control your food intake and stuff like that, that very easily you're able to reset.
So as we bring this to a close, Lillian, discipline, I think, is one of the key
Core values.
right?
Yes.
When it comes to this. So would you say that that has changed over time and just changed really your overall perspective about life, about health, and just staying healthy?
Discipline.
Yeah.
That ability and power to say no to those fries, or you go out with your friends and in the menu you'll choose something that is more friendly for you versus what they are taking. It honestly takes a lot. Most of the times there is cravings, you look at what they are having and you'll be like, yeah, that used to taste good then, and I would love a taste of that. But equally is that question, why did I begin this in the first place, and where do I want to go? So yes, discipline becomes fundamental, I would say. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Lillian, for that. And Dr. when it comes to sustainability, because again, with all this other different, forms of weight management, there's usually that aspect of regain, right? So this aspect, and that is on behavioral change, right? Would you say, when it comes to sustainability, do you have instances where people regain, or is it very sustaining?
It goes back to willpower. So willpower is like a muscle. And for a lot of us, by the time we get to a decision where I need to change my lifestyle, I need to change how I eat, I need to start going to the gym, we use willpower. But we hope that that willpower will get us through. And that's why willpower is like lifting your hands up straight, that punishment we used to do in primary school. You lift your hands, you'll get tired. What ensures sustainability is being able to get the point where your hands are relaxed. So where you no longer require willpower to get through your food decision. And that's for us why we say changing the relationship with food works for all our programs. So at Avenue Healthcare, we still do gastric balloons. We still do sleeve gastrectomy. We will still do bypass. But because even in the West, they have shown that if you do not sort that behavioral component, you will still gain that weight back. What our behavioral change program does is it stops your dependence on willpower and gets to you having healthy habits that you can build on. And based on that, your foundation is solid. Regardless of whatever mawimbi will come and push you from side to side, you'll still be able to get back to center, and you'll still be able to sustain whatever gains you have gotten.
I really like that. And of course, I'm just curious, age, is age a factor? Is there a certain age that is?
Age is not a factor. In this program, we've had people in their 20s. My own parents, who are now pushing close to their 7th decade, have gone through the program. And some of those aspects, such as people who have knee pain that they think is because of arthritis, that can go just by changing the nutrients that you're getting from the foods.
I like that. Thank you so much, Dr. It's a lot to think about. And I think that gives us some time to just sit and absorb everything that we've learned, because now we know better. So thank you so much, Dr. Benjamin Njihie, who is a laparoscopic surgeon as well as a wellness coach. And not forgetting Lillian Wanjiru, who is a wellness champion. Now you understand why we were saying she is a wellness champion. All right. Well, time now for you to take a look at this health tip.
Braces are used to correct teeth that are not properly aligned. And as a patient, there are tips on how you should take care of your braces. Number one, braces are foreign objects in your mouth, and therefore they can easily trap dirt more than what would happen in a person without braces. So what that means is then that you should brush after every meal. Secondly, there are foods that you're not supposed to take, and when you have braces, this include hard food, because during braces, teeth are being moved and therefore they are weak. You are also not supposed to take sugary and sticky food, because this again will affect your teeth, such as gum disease. If you don't clean properly, your gums will start becoming swollen, and also you can develop dental cavities.
Well, after 2 consecutive shows as far as behavioral change for weight management is concerned, now I know you know better. And this is as far as our relationship with food is concerned, and the fact that, first of all, you will ask yourself, why is it that you feel that you need to take certain food? And of course, number 2 would be, what good does that food do to your body? And of course, from then, we're able to make a conscious decision as far as our food intake is concerned. So very, very informative shows that we've had. But if you have any other question, feel free to engage with us on our social media platforms down at the bottom of your screen. My name is Winnie Lubembe. A special thanks to the Avenue Hospital for hosting us today. Until next time, adios. Are you happy? No. Behavioral change for weight management. Unanisikia hata kweli? Unasikia? Nishaanza ku. Kwani unaniharas?